Secrets grow darker when the truth hides in plain sight. Every smile masks suspicion, and every friendship could break with one wrong step. In the halls of Nevermore, silence is dangerous, and curiosity might cost you more than answers. Wednesday finds herself caught in a storm of questions with fewer and fewer people she can trust. At first, the episode paints a picture of normality classes, cryptic stares, and the usual oddities of Nevermore Academy, but beneath it, something feels different. The energy is heavier, as though the walls themselves are whispering secrets. Wednesday knows she's close to uncovering something huge, but each step forward feels like a step into quicksand. The more she digs, the deeper she sinks into a puzzle that refuses to show its full image. The tension begins to grow when Wednesday notices small patterns others ignore. Strange symbols scratched into old books, odd conversations that stop the moment she enters the room, and a series of accidents that never seem accidental. The air is charged with suspicion. Every classmate becomes a possible suspect, every ally a possible traitor. It is here that Wednesday's cold and calculating. Nature becomes both her shield and her weakness. She is sharper than everyone else, but also more isolated, and that loneliness makes her stand out even more. By the middle of the episode, the pace quickens. Wednesday confronts someone she once thought she could trust, only to discover half-truths and deflections. The dialogue carries double meanings, forcing both her and us to wonder if anyone is really on her side. Even moments of calm, like sitting in the library or walking the courtyard, are loaded with suspense. We start to see cracks forming in friendships that once seemed solid, with whispers of betrayal floating in the background. The Academy is no longer just a school. It feels like a stage set for secrets, where every character wears a mask. Then comes the moment that shifts everything, a shocking reveal that no one, not even Wednesday, sees coming. A clue hidden in plain sight, mocking her all along, finally surfaces. The discovery is not a solution, but a spark that ignites chaos. What seemed to be small mysteries suddenly connect into something much larger, hinting at a threat that is both personal and powerful. The closing minutes of episode 5 leave a chill, not just for Wednesday, but for us. The tension rises with the question that hangs in the air: if this is only the beginning, how dark will things become by the end? The shadows inside Nevermore grow heavier in episode 6, and Wednesday becomes more relentless than ever. What began as scattered clues now feels like a dangerous map leading her closer to a hidden truth. But with every new step, she realizes the map is stained with lies. This episode doesn't waste time with calm moments. From the very first scene, it throws Wednesday into deeper waters. Her obsession with the mystery consumes her, and it becomes clear that she is willing to push boundaries others would never dare to cross. We watch her move through the academy with sharper eyes than before. She notices the smallest details, the quick glance between two classmates, a letter being tucked away too quickly, the uneasy silence of a teacher when questioned. Everything feels suspicious, and the air becomes tense each time Wednesday enters a room. Her presence is both feared and respected, as though everyone knows she is closing in on something, but no one dares to stop her directly. Still, the resistance grows subtle. People avoid her, conversations shift when she walks by, and even the friends she once trusted start to pull away. The emotional core of this episode lies in trust. Wednesday, who has always been skeptical of others, now finds herself questioning even the closest connections. A character who once seemed like an ally delivers a shocking betrayal, and it cuts deeper than any threat from the shadows. The scene is raw and unsettling, painted with sharp words and lingering silence. Wednesday tries to hide her disappointment, but the coldness in her eyes betrays her hurt. This betrayal adds weight to the narrative. It reminds us that danger doesn't always come from monsters lurking in the dark. Sometimes, it's the people you thought were on your side. The investigation takes a daring turn when Wednesday uncovers a hidden passage, one that has been right beneath the students' feet all along. The sequence is drenched in suspense, though. Narrow corridors, the sound of dripping water, and the eerie silence that makes every step echo like a warning. Here, she finds fragments of evidence, scraps of paper, broken objects, and markings that link back to the strange symbols introduced earlier. It's not a full picture, but it's enough to confirm that someone within the Academy is hiding. Far more than they've let on, the thrill of discovery is matched only by the growing sense of danger. Midway through the episode, Wednesday faces a confrontation that sets the tone for the rest of the season. A character steps out of the shadows, cornering her with threats and veiled warnings. The dialogue crackles with tension, every word carrying the weight of menace. Wednesday, as always, remains unshaken on the surface, her dry wit cutting through the intimidation. But the scene leaves a mark. This enemy knows more about her investigation than she expected, and the fact that they chose to confront her directly means she is closer to the truth than ever before. The stakes have officially changed. The second half of the episode builds with a steady pulse of unease. Small victories, like decoding part of the symbols or piecing together connections between suspects, are immediately overshadowed by the sense that Wednesday is being watched. The camera lingers on her shoulders, the background filled with shadows that might or might not be moving. It creates a chilling effect, as the danger is always a step behind her. The investigation is no longer just about finding answers. It's about surviving long enough to reveal them. By the end of episode 6, Wednesday stands at a crossroads. She has gathered enough evidence to know she is on the right path, but her circle of trust is shattered. Even her most loyal allies seem uncertain, their support wavering under the weight of fear and suspicion. A final scene shows Wednesday holding a piece of evidence that could change everything, a detail so small it would be meaningless to anyone else, but in her hands, it becomes a weapon. The episode closes with her in the center of the frame, lit by a dim glow, her expression unreadable. Is it determination? Or is it the heavy knowledge that the deeper she goes, the more she risks losing? Episode 6 leaves us restless. The mystery has expanded beyond simple questions of who and why. Now it's about survival, betrayal, and the possibility that Wednesday might not make it to the truth unscathed. Each thread she pulls reveals a bigger knot, and with every unraveling, the danger grows sharper. This is no longer just her investigation, it's a battle for control of Nevermore itself. By episode 7, the air at Nevermore feels poisoned. Every hallway creaks with secrets, every glance lingers too long, and even the silence feels heavy, as though the Academy itself is holding its breath. Wednesday, bruised by betrayal but more determined than ever, charges forward into the mystery. The threads she has been pulling finally begin to connect, but the picture they form is far darker than she imagined. What started as scattered clues now feels like a trap that was waiting for her all along. The first moments of the episode show Wednesday confronting her isolation. Friends who once stood beside her are now shadows at the edges, uncertain of her relentless obsession. Even in her loneliness, however, she grows sharper. Wednesday thrives in the cracks where others crumble. We see her wandering the Academy. At night, her lantern flickering against stone walls, eyes scanning every surface for signs no one else would notice. The mood is eerie, yet strangely empowering. This is Wednesday at her purest, alienated, misunderstood, but utterly unstoppable. As the mystery unfolds, long-buried betrayals come to the surface. Secrets between students spill out like venom, and the web of lies that held everything together begins to collapse. One shocking revelation splits the Academy apart. Someone everyone trusted has been playing both sides. This moment is delivered not with loud drama, but with quiet devastation. A hushed conversation, a tear in someone's voice, and then the truth dropping like a stone into dark water. The betrayal stings not only for Wednesday, but for everyone caught in the storm. Trust becomes a currency that no one can afford. Midway through the episode, Wednesday uncovers something that changes the stakes completely. A hidden chamber, buried deep beneath the Academy, reveals the full weight of the mystery. The walls are covered in strange writings, half warnings and half prophecies, and among them is a symbol she has seen before. The same mark that has haunted her investigation since the very beginning. Here, the pieces fall into place. The strange accidents, the shifting alliances, the constant sense of being watched. None of it was random. Someone has been moving in the dark, orchestrating every twist like a puppeteer pulling strings. But knowledge comes at a cost. The chamber is not abandoned, and Wednesday is not alone. A tense sequence unfolds as she is cornered by a figure cloaked in shadow. Their words are not shouted but whispered, carrying a menace sharper than any scream. They reveal fragments of the truth just enough to torment her, not enough to free her. The confrontation feels less like a battle and more like a game of chess, with Wednesday forced to think 10 moves ahead while danger presses closer. Her sharp wit is her only weapon, and though she leaves the chamber alive, the message is clear. She has entered a war she cannot escape. The unraveling continues beyond the walls of the academy. The tension spills into friendships, alliances, and even the staff who once seemed distant from the chaos. Each character carries suspicion now, and the academy feels like a stage where everyone is an actor hiding their real face. Even the quiet moments, a meal in the dining hall, a lecture in class are filled with unease. The camera lingers on. Glances exchanged, on hands clutching books too tightly, on footsteps echoing down corridors where no one should be. As episode 7 reaches its climax, Wednesday stands at the center of a storm. The mystery she thought she was solving is no longer just hers. It belongs to Nevermore itself, and the academy is cracking under the weight of the truth. A final scene captures the unraveling perfectly. Wednesday, standing in the courtyard. As the rain begins to fall, clutching the final piece of evidence that ties everything together. Her face is unreadable, but her silence is louder than any scream. She knows the truth is near, but she also knows the cost will be higher than she imagined. Episode 7 doesn't simply move the story forward, it tears it apart. Relationships fracture, masks fall, and the safe ground beneath the characters' feet collapses. What once seemed like a mystery to be solved has now become a dangerous game of survival. The unraveling is not just about secrets being revealed, it's about the world itself falling apart, thread by thread, until there's nothing left but the truth, raw and unforgiving. The storm that has been building finally explodes in episode 8. From the very first frame, the finale feels different. The silence is sharper, the shadows longer, and every heartbeat seems to echo like a drum of war. Wednesday is no longer just an investigator chasing shadows. She is now a soldier walking into battle, armed only with her sharp mind and her iron will. The mystery has unraveled into a revelation, and the truth standing before her is more dangerous than any suspicion she carried before. The episode wastes no time with hesitation. Wednesday steps into confrontation with the figure who has haunted her investigation since the start. The reveal lands with chilling weight. This isn't a stranger, but someone who has been beside her all along, weaving lies into every conversation, hiding threats behind kindness, and playing both sides with perfect precision. The betrayal cuts deep, not just for Wednesday but for us as viewers. The realization that every moment leading up to this was part of a carefully crafted illusion leaves the story heavy with dread. From here, the finale becomes a chessboard of tension. Wednesday and her enemy circle each other with words first, their dialogue sharp, cold, and calculated. Every sentence feels like a weapon, every pause like the click of a trap closing. Then, when words no longer suffice, the episode erupts into action. The confrontation is not just physical but emotional, pulling Wednesday to her breaking point. For the first time, her calm mask slips. She is shaken not by fear, but by the cost of the truth she has been chasing. The fight is fierce, filled with chaos and desperate energy, but Wednesday refuses to fall. She claws her way through, as unyielding as the storm around her. Amid the chaos, other characters rise to face their own battles. Friends who doubted her, who turned away, now find themselves pulled back into the fire. Their loyalty is tested, their courage forced into the open. Some stand with her, others break completely, and the fractures within the group deepen into scars that cannot heal. The finale makes it clear. Even victory will not restore what has been lost. The climax reaches its peak in the final showdown. Staged in a setting that feels both haunting and symbolic, an ancient hall beneath Nevermore. Its walls lined with the same symbols that have plagued Wednesday since the start. Here, the full truth comes alive. The enemy's plan is revealed, the scope of their manipulation made terrifyingly clear. Every accident, every betrayal, every whispered lie, all of it was connected. Wednesday, standing amidst the ruins of trust, realizes that she has been playing on their board from the beginning. But Wednesday Addams is not someone who plays by others' rules. In a moment that defines her character, she flips the game entirely. Using the smallest detail, something overlooked, something invisible to anyone but her, she turns the trap back on its maker. The victory is not loud or triumphant. It is sharp, quiet, and merciless. With cold precision, she dismantles the threat piece by piece, leaving nothing but silence in the wake of her resolve. Yet the finale does not end with triumph. It ends with shadows. The cost of survival is heavy, and Wednesday is left standing in the wreckage of trust, surrounded by people she can no longer see as allies. Some bonds are broken beyond repair, some characters vanish into the darkness, and the Academy itself feels scarred by the battle. The camera lingers on Wednesday's face, pale and unreadable, as she walks away from the ruins. Her eyes hold victory, but also the weight of something larger, something unfinished. The closing scene delivers one final sting, a letter slipped under her door in the dead of night. Its message is brief, written in the same symbols that have haunted her since the beginning. It is not over. The shadows are not gone. Someone else is still watching, still waiting. The episode ends not with peace, but with the promise that the darkness has only begun to reveal itself. Episode 8 doesn't give us closure. It gives us fire. The mystery has been solved, the villain unmasked, but the victory feels fragile, like glass ready to shatter. Wednesday walks into the next chapter not as a student, but as a warrior marked by betrayal and sharpened by survival. The finale leaves us breathless, haunted, and already desperate for the story to continue. Because at Nevermore, the truth is never final, and the shadows never sleep.